In the beginning, we see a young man Byeong-gu who believes that the aliens from Andromeda planet are most likely to attack the Earth and assume that he is the only person who can save the Earth and humanity as well. So he makes a plan with her girlfriend Sunya, who is a childish-minded person, to kidnap Kang, a leading businessman in the city. Before this, he had done complete research on Kang and his daily routine and managed to stop all CCTV cameras of Kang's residence. The following night, when Kang being drunk arrives at his home, Lee appears there and attempts to trick him, but he understands him and attacks Lee. Kang successfully handles Lee, but Sunya from behind grabs his mouth with a chloroform mask, which results in his unconsciousness. Therefore, they become successful in kidnapping Kang. Later, when Kang comes to his senses, he sees that he is tied in a strange place, and also he has no hairs on his head. And we come to know that Lee has cut his hair because he thinks that Kang has a connection with aliens through his hair. After that, he tells Sunya to torture him so that he reveals his reality and information about the aliens. Lee and Sunya start damaging his sensitive body parts like feet, eyes, and some private parts. They peel the skin from his feet and paste a fluid on the wound so that he falls unconscious. On the other hand, the news of Kang's kidnap spreads all over the city and the police have started investigating it. Later, the police reach Lee's house and find Detective Chu already investigating there. Then the police warn him to stay away from this case, so he leaves them, but later Inspector Kim, who has recently joined the police, goes to Detective Chu and tells him that he is impressed by him and forces him to help him in solving the case, so that Chu agrees to help him. Afterwards, Detective Chu and Inspector Kim go to a cafe where they discuss Lee. Chu shows Kim a medicine that he found in Lee's house, then Kim tells him that the medicine is used to improve mental power. We come to know Lee used to take that medicine to get rid of his mental fear because his girlfriend was killed in front of his eyes and he could not do anything to save her, and this scene hovers around his mind and scares him all the time. Here Kang threatens Lee that he is the largest musician in the city and he can destroy him easily, but Lee does not feel sacred as he already knows everything about Kang. Then Kang tries to mold him with money, but Lee refuses and says that he is not doing this for money and reveals that he is trying to protect the Earth from the aliens. Kang assumes that Lee is a mental person, that's why he is saying weird things. Afterwards, Kang observes Lee and learns that he is taking medicine again and again. Then Lee puts the medicine in Kang's eyes, which makes Kang feel great pain, and eventually he falls unconscious again. Then the scene shifts to the police, who were observing the kidnapper Lee on the CCTV camera. They see that the kidnapper goes to a bank and withdrawn only 4,000 cash from Kang's account while hiding his face. But when he leaves, the police see the number plate of the bike through which he was traveling. And then it is shown that Inspector Kim is considered only a dumb person by the police and he is used only for cleaning and cooking tasks. But in actuality, he was an extraordinary and intelligent inspector, and all this has disheartened him a lot. Then we come to know that Inspector Kim starts his secret investigation with Detective Chu, and he informs Kim that the kidnapper is so clever he has tricked all of us by showing his bike's number plate and that he has withdrawn only 4,000 cash from Kang's account. Then the scene shifts to Kang, who comes to consciousness again and remembers that Lee is the son of the lady whom he has experimented on while Sunya was guarding him there. Then he attempts to persuade Sunya by telling her a lie that Lee does not love him and he is only using her to take revenge for his girlfriend's murder. After listening to this, Sunya gets too confused and stressed that he leaves the place. Here Detective Chu finds out that the medicine he found in Lee's house was purchased from a hospital, and when he reaches the hospital to investigate, he comes to know everything about Lee, that his mother is admitted to that hospital for 4 years and she is still in coma, so heads towards Lee's house to investigate further. On the other hand, Lee goes to Sunya to find out why she left Kang alone. She asks him if he loves her, but he doesn't say anything, which increases her suspicion, and walks away from him. It makes Lee pretty angry, and then he goes to Kang and yells at him that he has misguided Sunya and decides to give him an electric shock. Kang falls unconscious upon having an electric shock and Lee leaves him there. Later, when Kang comes to his senses, he attempts to escape and loses one of his thumbs, but becomes successful to be untied before he could escape. Lee arrives there and attempts to torture him and pushes on the chair, but Kang somehow manages to attack Lee and they both start beating each other, but Kang becomes dominant over Lee, and after beating him a lot, Kang assumes that he is dead and decides to walk away, but Lee revives himself and stabs a nail in Kang's foot, but Kang, having great difficulty, manages to reach another room and locks him inside and thinks that they both are locked in different rooms, but Lee, being familiar with the basement floor, gets inside Kang's room through a secret underground path and points his gun on him, but Kang manages to snatch his gun and shoots him instead. But it is shown that the gun is artificial and he has deceived Kang with it. After that, he injects poison into Kang's body, which stops his voice. Afterwards, Detective Chu reaches there, and Lee, after hiding all the clues, goes to the ground floor and meets Detective Chu, who claims that he is a detective on a tour and he has no place to stay, so if he minds giving him a stay for a day. Meanwhile, Kang tries to be noticed by the detective, but Lee manages to hide him, and having no choice, Lee allows him to stay at his home. After getting in, the detective notices his house and learns that everything is normal there. But having a suspect, he continues to search his house and finds the basement and decides to check it at midnight. But Lee hides Kang in the basement. Afterwards, Detective Chu has a long conversation with Lee. The following night, Detective Chu thinks that Lee might be sleeping and goes to check the basement, but he finds Lee working and nothing was wrong there. The next day, Detective Chu gets ready to leave. Meanwhile, Lee gives him a book about aliens, which compels him to think that Lee is an innocent person and that all of them were wrong and that Lee is the kidnapper. After that, he gets outside, but before he could leave, he notices his dog, and upon checking the dog house, he finds a lot of human bones inside. And then he instantly calls Inspector Kim to inform, but before he could tell him his location, the phone connection is cut, and meanwhile, Lee comes outside and attacks Detective Chu and spills some honey on his face so that all the honeybees attack his face until he collapses and eventually dies. Then Lee goes to Kang and continues to torture him, and after all, he decides to cut his feet with an axe, but Kang begs pardon and reveals that he is an alien who can save his mother, as he used his mother for an experiment to make stronger humans, and says that the antidote is present inside his car's trunk space. Then Lee rushes towards his car, and after taking the antidote, he hurriedly goes to his mother. Then the scene shifts to Inspector Kim, who looks pretty worried due to the absence of Detective Chu. He notices some pictures and learns that Lee is present in all the group photos, so he might be the killer. Then he calls his senior and informs him that Lee is the killer, but the senior inspector claims that they have already caught the culprit. And it is shown that the person who was caught is Lee's friend, and we come to know that Lee has shown his friend's bike on CCTV camera so that the police have caught him as the victim. But Inspector Kim found out the address of Lee's house and set out towards the house. On the other hand, Lee reaches his mother and tries to feed him with the antidote, but she dies and he becomes very mournful. Then the scene shifts to Kang, who attempts to get free and becomes successful to get rid of the shackles. But when he climbs up to the ground floor, he gets an electric shock and collapses. Then he becomes hopeless and starts exploring the basement, where he finds a lot of human body parts and their photos and thinks that Lee is a savage who used to torture people this way. Afterwards, he finds Lee's diary, in which his life from his childhood till now was discussed. Then he reads the diary and learns that Lee's father was a mine worker, and once in an accident he lost his one arm. Consequently, they fell into a financial crisis, and his father attempted to kill all of them, but his mother pushed him away, which mistakenly resulted in his death, and Lee, seeing all this, got very stressed, and even their relatives started misbehaving them. After that, Lee was tortured badly by his teacher, and all his fellows used to bully him, but one day he attacked one of them and inadvertently killed him. As a result, he was sent to prison. And in jail, he was continually tortured, and during the strike, his girlfriend was tortured to death in front of his eyes. And all this badly affected his mind, and later he came to know that his mother was poisoned and she fell into a coma, leaving him alone. And having such a painful past, his mental health was greatly disturbed. Then the scene shifts to Inspector Kim, who reaches Lee's house, and upon searching, he finds Kang injured in the basement. Kang thinks that he is now rescued, and Kim moves to take him outside, but before they could get outside, Lee arrives there while capturing them at the gunpoint and blames Kang that his mother has died. However, Inspector Kim attempts to calm him, but he seems too aggressive. Meanwhile, Sunya also arrives there and attacks Inspector Kim, and he collapses, and as a result, Lee and Sunya capture and tie both of them. After that, Lee blames Inspector Kim for the interruption and says that he is going to kill him. But before he could do anything, Kang accepts that he is an alien and starts telling everything about the Earth. He tells them how the Earth was formed and how humans were created, and claims that he performs experiments on humans to make them stronger, but these experiments result from the selfishness and cruelness of the humans. Moreover, he says that the humans, instead of becoming stronger, got brutal, and to achieve their own, he kills the other human, which is resulting at the end of humanity. Hearing all this, Lee gets angry and yells, "Stop telling lies." But Kang claims that this is the bitter reality of humans and he has to accept it. Then he tells them that he can contact the aliens, and for contact, he has to go to his factory. Lee agrees and attaches a bomb to Kang and himself, while he leaves Inspector Kim behind in the basement and informs him that he would have to save the Earth after him. Afterwards, he takes Kang to his factory and warns him to complete the task in an hour. But upon exceeding the time, he is attacked by Lee and he manages to capture Sunya as a hostage. Lee tries his best to defeat Kang and save Sunya, but she eventually dies, and here Kang seems successful in killing Lee. After that, he wanted to leave, but Lee was not dead. He retrieves and attacks him, but Inspector Kim reaches there in time and shoots Lee, and he dies. Afterwards, all the security inspectors arrive there and rescue the injured Kang. After rescuing Kang, they get outside the building, and a junior inspector boasts about his abilities and tells them that he will be promoted to the next post. Meanwhile, an alien ship arrives there and the aliens start killing one by one. And Kang gets inside the spaceship, and it is revealed that Kang is an alien as well, and he is the leader of those aliens who was pretending to be a human. After that, he is shown in his real face, and it is revealed that he came to Earth to carry out some experiments, but having this incident which has injured him a lot, he gets disappointed. To overcome his wrath, he destroys the Earth, saying that it was a failed experiment. And the film ends here.